Friday night live stream for August 11th, 2023. Welcome if you're new to the group. We are Student Loan Justice. We're the first, the oldest, the largest, and really the only true grassroots group. Normal people fighting for student loan justice. It's two things, guys. Return of bankruptcy, number one, by far the most important. Number two, the cancellation of all federally owned student loans, which is most student loans out there, by executive order. So the most important thing that I'll say tonight is that second thing, loan cancellation, that's only going to happen when we get that first thing done. Bankruptcy lies, whether you would ever or never file, doesn't matter. Very few people will even have to file. In fact, really nobody technically will have to file once we get the leverage returned to compel very meaningful, very widespread loan cancellation, loan negotiation, breaks on interest, whatever you want to see happen with your student loans, it will happen when we get the leverage of bankruptcy returned. So there's a lot going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. First thing I have to say, I've got to make a pitch for donations, guys. I'm sorry about that. We need 19 people to donate $20 or more by the end of this weekend. It's absolutely critical for the basic functioning of this group. So if you appreciate all that we've done, and we've done a lot, how important this group is, and we are very important to the national debate on student loan policy, just please pitch in so I can shut up about it. I suck at fundraising. Everybody knows that's true. So please help. We cannot do it without you. So tonight, I want to talk about how corrupted the Supreme Court is. So the question I put was, how corrupted is the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court is very corrupted, ladies and gentlemen. You know, about a month or two ago, ProPublica broke the news that Samuel Alito had been flown onto a luxury fishing trip with all the bells and whistles. It was a salmon fishing trip which rich people do. I actually used to work at a very high-end fly-in fishing lodge in Southeast Alaska. So I know how that game goes. Very wealthy people come, and we even bait their hooks for them. Like, they don't even have to do anything, but like, as soon as a fish gets on the line, they can reel it if they want. Otherwise, we'll even reel the damn thing in for them. So it's like roughing it for billionaires type of thing. Anyways, I digress. ProPublica reported that Paul Singer, a wealthy billionaire who was actively opposing student loan cancellation, had flown Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito to this luxury fishing vacation in Alaska. So that was like, huh. And then the verdict came out, by the way, and we know how the verdict went. And frankly, the verdict surprised me. It was a bad verdict. And let's remember this when it comes to student loan cancellation by executive order, which all started on this group, by the way. Let's not forget that Donald Trump was the first president to cancel student loans by executive order. He did it in August 2019, way before the pandemic. So there was no national emergency. Donald Trump canceled the student loan debt of roughly 25,000 disabled veterans. He did it by executive order. He did it without any objection, without any lawsuits. And then when the pandemic hit, President Trump again was the first president, second time he canceled student loan debt by executive order with the repayment, the initial repayment pause. That was done by executive order. And again, there was no criticism. There were no lawsuits. So then Joe Biden does this lame, feckless cancellation, and all of a sudden it gets challenged. All of a sudden the right-leaning, and we're a fiercely nonpartisan group, guys. Truly, we hate both parties. It's true. But we are very partisan aware. And the Supreme Court is leaning to the right. And here we have the Supreme Court verdict that completely flies in the face of precedent that Donald Trump himself set, just to make Biden look bad, or whatever the reasons were. It was what it was. The Supreme Court denied Biden's loan cancellation. So then we we found out even before the verdict, and this thing was Samuel Alito, and that was eyebrow raising. It really was. Paul Singer was a strong supporter of one of the groups that filed the lawsuit. If I'm remembering that correctly, I think that's correct. Anyways, Paul Singer was actively opposing student loan cancellation by executive order. Then we found out just recently, again in ProPublica, hats off to ProPublica, that Clarence Thomas also had been wined and dined by a billionaire named David Sokol. David Sokol also had spoken publicly and vehemently against student loan cancellation. So now we have two Supreme Court justices that we know about that have been wined and dined by billionaires strongly opposed to student loan cancellation. So you think maybe that might have come up on those fishing trips as they're roughing it in the wilds of Alaska or whatever they did with Clarence Thomas? Who knows? Guys, this is not good. This is not what the Supreme Court is supposed to be all about. And, I digress. But we should be very concerned about this, guys. The Supreme Court is kind of the last word on many things. And anyways, I just wanted to make that point. I think that was breaking news today, if I'm not mistaken. Thanks to Lisa Ansell for forwarding me that article, by the way. I haven't looked at the date, but I think ProPublica broke it within the past couple of days. Let me just verify that for you. ProPublica broke the Clarence Thomas thing. Yep, August 10th. So yesterday. So that's new news, guys. And, maybe one last point I'll make. We've noticed, we don't pay attention to any other issues besides student loan issues, but I did notice an interview with Joe Biden yesterday. It was an interview on the environment, and he was somewhere in Colorado. I don't know who the interviewer was. Doesn't matter. But they were asking him about his lack of progress in fulfilling his agenda on the environment. Now, I don't know exactly what that is. I don't even follow it. I follow no other issues besides student loans. But the answer that I heard Joe Biden give rang familiar. And I think the question was about something about how he had failed to stop the fracking companies from fracking, doing what they do, whatever they do. And Biden's answer was something to the effect that, hey, man, I tried. Look, I tried. But the court stopped me. So, I tried, but the courts, the court stopped me, Supreme Court. That seems to be a very common refrain from the Biden administration. And I will only say, I do know the student loan issue very well. And I can tell you that Joe Biden really never wanted to cancel student loans by executive order. And a lot of these blue no matter who people on Twitter have called me a conspiracy theorist. It's no conspiracy. Just look at the public words that Joe Biden said before the election. He's like, yeah, I'm going to cancel loans. Cancel loans. He didn't precisely say how he was going to cancel loans, but whatever. I'm not even worried about the details. He said, yeah, I'm going to eliminate your student loans if you earn less than $125,000. You went to public college, HBCU, said all these things. After the election, when asked about canceling student loans by executive order, oh, no, I will not be doing that, is what Joe Biden said. And then he was cajoled and muscled and whatever, the political people around him. Finally, he actually did do a cancellation, and it was lame and feckless. And in my opinion, I think it was probably designed to fail. And leading Democrats like Nancy Pelosi came out, Susan Rice, others came out and said, oh, no, canceling student loans by executive order is the wrong way to do it. You should do it through Congress. That's the most asinine, ridiculous statement ever uttered by anyone. Because canceling student loans by Congress is massively expensive. Every dollar you cancel, you have to pay for. So you have to add it to the national debt, take money from the treasury, all that nonsense. Canceling student loans by executive order, you simply draw a line in a ledger. No money is required from the treasury. Not a dime is added to the national debt. But I digress. The point is, I really don't think Joe Biden ever wanted to cancel loans. Who knows if he ever wanted to do whatever he said he failed to do with the oil companies, with fracking. But that seems to be the playbook of the Biden administration. And chirp in by all means if you know of other areas where Joe Biden promised one thing, failed to do it, and then pointed to the courts as an excuse. I would not be surprised if there are a couple other things out there. That's not leadership, guys. That's not being a strong president. That's not doing what you said you were going to do. That's playing political games for the sake of who knows. But it certainly isn't fighting for us, the people that elected him. So, anyways, maybe you have your own thoughts. If you're watching us on Twitter or Facebook live, by all means, throw your comments out. I'm very happy to respond to them and sit you. I'm dialing in your comments now on both Twitter and on Facebook. If I could see them, I'll very happily respond to them. A lot of other news going on right now, guys. So another very important news item out. It was reported today and also yesterday, New York Times, Business Insider, that new bankruptcy process that Joe Biden rolled out, the Biden administration rolled out, it is an abysmal failure. It's been out for nearly a year now, and only a few dozen people, like 44 people, have gotten their loans discharged in bankruptcy. That's 44 people out of, 200,000 people who file for bankruptcy every year and who have student loans. And so, I should say that I told you so. And if you're new to the group, we've been around for 18 years, guys. We've been fighting almost, but for the fact that loan cancellation came up in 2020, and this group started that whole thing about loan cancellation by executive order. It's true. We did the very first interview in Vice News about whether or not the president even had the power to cancel student loans by executive order. Hint, he does. And not through the HEROES Act or whatever the nonsense legislation that Joe Biden pointed to for his lame, feckless $10,000 loan cancellation vote-getting gimmick. The president does indeed, by the Higher Education Act, Section 1082, have all the power he needs to broadly waive, modify, compromise, release the federal government's interest in federally owned student loans. That all started on this group. But even putting that to the side, this group has been fighting for bankruptcy for the entire 18 years of our existence. And this new bankruptcy process is a cruel joke. We knew it was a cruel joke when it first came out. Within a day of them announcing it, we wrote an article called Bankruptcy, the New Bankruptcy Process is a Cruel Joke. Lo and behold, here we are 11 fucking months later, and we were right. We're always right, guys. Well, I don't think we've ever made any big, bold prediction, except for the Supreme Court. We actually thought the Supreme Court was going to affirm that cancellation. I think that's the only prediction we've ever made that was wrong. So we're batting like 99% or something with the predictions that we make. So it gives me no pleasure to say that the new bankruptcy process would fail the vast majority of people who tried for it. And by the way, these numbers are still pretty early, but it would appear that 480 people, 480, less than 500, 480 people have tried utilizing this new bankruptcy process. And of those, yeah, as I said, 44 people have gotten any kind of relief. So that's that's slightly less than a 10% success rate. And remember, the people that went through that process, not only did they have to file for bankruptcy and pay $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever it is for that, the filing fee, those people also had to pay an additional $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to their bankruptcy attorneys to even try doing an adversarial proceeding, which is what you have to do uniquely for student loans to find out about this weird undue hardship thing and whether you pass or not. So it looks like even the people that went out on a limb, paid all that extra money, filed for bankruptcy, they got all the shame of the bankruptcy, paid all that extra money to do the adversarial proceeding, and then they found out, nope, you're not getting it. So we don't have to put up with this bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. Think about your life. I mean, guys, these are student fucking loans that we're talking about. Pardon my French. These are not nuclear launch codes. This is not international espionage with, war and peace hanging in the balance. These are effing student loans, and we don't have to put up with this bullshit. The founding fathers called for uniform bankruptcy rights in the Constitution. It had the power to declare war, it had the power to raise an army, ahead of the right to bear arms, ahead of the right to free speech and freedom of religion, and ahead of the abolition of slavery, ahead of everything mentioned in the Bill of Rights. Founding fathers knew that bankruptcy was so important. They called for it in the body of the Constitution. So guys, I mean, at what point are you sitting there going to step up and stand up and fight for yourself? We don't deserve to be conquered and enslaved. The founding fathers are on our side. And the only thing that we're missing, guys, is you. Here are 2 action items I have for you. If you actually want to start helping and you actually want to avoid being enslaved, essentially, certainly indentured by this debt for the rest of your natural life. Number 1, do our daily actions. Very easy to do. I will dial in the link for you right now. Go to our website, look up, or you can go to that link right there. bit.ly SLJ Daily Action. We do those every day. They're very simple and they're very easy to do. And it's the least that you could do to solve your student loan problem. Second thing, we are asking everyone to get us into a meeting with your member of the House of Representatives. We have legislation that is, knock on wood, forthcoming. Bankruptcy legislation that will level the playing field for everyone. This group is the only group in existence in the country fighting for bankruptcy, guys. Look at the other groups. Look at the Debt Collective. Look at Student Debt Crisis. Look at the Student Borrower Protection Center, or whatever they call themselves. All those groups are nonsense, guys. I'm sorry. They're not fighting for bankruptcy. They never have been. They may never will, because at least 2 of those groups are corrupted, like straight up corrupted. One of them is just absolutely provably corrupted. Like, all you have to do is go to their group and see all the debt coaches and student loan lawyers and all the people that are using their group as hunting grounds, the predators that use their group as hunting grounds for defaulted other borrowers so they can rope into loan scams and make money off of your ass. No other groups are fighting for bankruptcy, guys. It's only us. We are the only group in the country. And it's the key to everything, I'm telling you. So we need you to get us into a meeting with your member of the House of Representatives. Tell them you want to bring us into the meeting. Give them my contact info. I will very happily show up to whenever you schedule a phone or a Zoom meeting for. And I will talk to those staffers on the other end of the line, and I will lecture them if I have to. But we will make the very strong point that they have a constitutional, a moral, and a patriotic duty to return bankruptcy protections to these loans right now. And quite frankly, in my humble opinion, I would urge everyone to never pay another dime of your money into this federal student loan beast, unless and until we get the bankruptcy rights that should have never been taken away reinstated. It's my new word, reinstated. Bankruptcy protections have got to be reinstated to student loans. So I'm looking for your questions and comments right now. Hope everybody's doing well out there in the world. Hey, Gordon Wayne Watson, Florida is with us. He says, I too got the SCOTUS executive order to ruling prediction wrong. Indeed, they actually stoked the fires of anger and helped our cause. That's probably true. Jackie Abron says, if it was two, it was all corrupt. Yeah, that's right. Two Supreme Court justices corrupted with only a total of 5 conservative justices. But was it only those 2? Yeah, think about it, guys. What ProPublica and some of the other few good journalists out there anymore, what they are able to uncover, it's not the whole story, guys. If they found out about 2, it probably means they were way more than 2. And who knows? Maybe even on the other side. Maybe even among the more liberal justices. Who knows? Who knows how deep that sucker goes? But if ProPublica was able to find and document 2, what are we even talking about here, guys? What are we even doing? And why are fucking billionaires weighing in on whether us student loan borrowers should get a break or not? Why? Why does Paul Singer even care about student loans? The government has been making a king's ransom. The taxpayers have been making a fortune on this scam. If anything, Paul Singer should just keep his fucking mouth shut and be very happy with all that $1 billion he's managed to finagle out of our economy. Same question, same comment for David Sokol. Same question, same comment for Bernard Marcus, the founder of Home Depot. What the fuck do these old rich bastards have one word to say about student loans, about cancellation, about bankruptcy, about anything to do with student loans? They can go fuck themselves as far as I'm concerned. Pardon my French. All right, guys, I'm obviously getting a little angry right now, so I'm going to call it a night. But I will only say this is the group, and you got to get off your ass because we will be fucking buried by these fucking billionaires if you let us. So do your part because this is your battle. These are your loans. And this is your livelihood on the fucking table here. Pardon my French. So make it happen, guys. See you on Sunday. Good luck doing those daily actions. Getting us into a meeting with your house rep. Godspeed. God bless everyone.